understandably, Jim Zorn very frustrated with his team's offensive performance, but he told me Jason Campbell has to read the defense, not just pick one receiver and stick with him, and he cannot be intimidated by the Giants' pass rush. He was encouraged by the touchdown at the end of the half, but as for Plexico Burress running free, he said they've got to double their coverage, but that is reliant on getting a pass rush going. As for Tom Coughlin, frustrated, very angry. He said our kickoff coverage is lousy. We can't continue to give them the ball at midfield.
And he's angry because they had a 16-0 lead and were dominating, and that Rock Cartwright run back put Washington in a position to score. Meanwhile, Campbell is 2 out of 6 for 25 yards. Talking about Burress, and Burress running free, 7 catches, 98 yards, John.
I think maybe it even started a little before that for Tom Coughlin. I felt when they had the ball and they had the 13-0 lead that maybe they got a little satisfied, maybe they got a little conservative, and then they got that 16, and then they get the run back, and then all those things happen. So I don't know that it just happened on the kickoff. I think maybe, you know, the play, a little let down on offense, a little conservative on offense, then those other things happen.
Yeah, I think he's a little frustrated with the fact that they had a near perfect opening drive, and then they had 3 pretty good drives going, and they just bogged down, and they had to set up a Carney field goal.
Right, and they had them down. I mean, they had the Redskins down, and the Redskins didn't have much life or weren't showing much life, and then they gave them life right at the end of the half, and now we'll see if they can carry that over.
And Washington will get the ball as we start the second half. One new rule change this year, by the way, on the coin toss, as in college, you can defer. In other words, get your choice to start the second half. That wasn't the case tonight. The Giants won the toss, elected to receive, and so the Redskins get the second half kickoff. John Carney will send it toward the south end zone. Here's Rock Cartwright. He of that 50-yard return before the half, and this time he is taken down with a flag thrown. Jarris Wilkinson, Giant outside backer.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist by the kicking team, number 53. 15-yard penalty. Washington keeps the ball, first down.
You know, that's usually the wedge buster. You see the wedge here, and if you come down and you go below the knees on the wedge, which they did right there, that's a penalty, and that's where that cutting comes in on the coverage team.
Ryan Keel, rookie out of BYU. So
yeah, and that's one of those things that, you know, that if you're going to take on the wedge, by rule, you have to take on the wedge high, and that's not a very good deal sometimes.
He's being reminded of that right now.
Yeah, but if you take it on too high, you come out looking at your ear hole.
From the 34-yard line. Going straight up the middle is Clinton Portis. Gain of 3. Good start for the Giants tonight. An 11-play, 84-yard drive. Manning scoring the 3rd touchdown of his career. Brandon Jacobs, the big bull, for 11 carries, 74 yards. Burress, a big first half. 7 receptions for 98 yards. And then it was Moss who was able to get into the end zone for Washington at the end after they didn't even have a first down until late in the half, apart from a penalty. And here is Kiwanuka swallowing Portis up.
Well, you better, if you're going to run to the right away from Kiwanuka, you better keep him backside and block him backside. In fact, Cooley is trying to do that, but he just beats him to the spot. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you can run away from and you don't have to block them on the backside. Kiwanuka is one of those guys that you better block on that backside. You know, the first guy that is that way that I can remember is Lawrence Taylor. I mean, you know, they put 2 on Lawrence Taylor when they would run away from him.
3rd and for 6 DBs, and we're dying here. Campbell out of the shotgun. Pressure from the outside. Kiwanuka gets there, but he gets the pass away. And Moss is able to come up with the ball, but he was tackled. He loses his helmet, and Corey Webster with the coverage on the play. The Giants are saying no. One official came in and said yes. The reception was good, but the tackle was made, and that will be short of the first down if indeed they rule it a reception.
And he led him right into Corey Webster, who was playing a zone. You lead it away from one guy in the zone and lead him to the other. There he is right here. You see he's going to run it out.
Pass is complete. 4th down.
You see Corey Webster came off. He was zoning. He came off, and he took away that out. and a good tackle to stop getting the first down.
Even though Webster thought it was an incomplete pass, walking away as if it wasn't even complete.
And Santana Moss knew it was complete, but he didn't know where Webster came from. He thought he had man coverage, and he was running away from man, but he was running into a zone.
Durant Brooks, rookie out of Georgia Tech, with a floating wobble that has backspin on it, and is fielded at the 26-yard line by Webster, who takes it back up to about the 28. So the Giants on offense for the first time of the half when we come back, 16-7.
Sports action online 24/7. Don't miss a minute of your favorite sports wherever you are, whenever you want it. Get the latest news, highlights, and analysis. Live game coverage. Simply choose a package to suit you to watch the NHL or NCAA football live online this season. Go to espn360.com and watch live sports online 24/7 now.
He's going to go long for Beckham. Got it! All the way down to the 19-yard line. What a throw and catch that was. Travis Beckham along the back of the end zone. A 28-yard touchdown reception.
Wide open Beckham makes the catch. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Franz, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday Franz Beckenbauer, happy birthday to you. So what would you most like for your birthday?
Well, it would be nice to turn the lights off and bring in a cake, but seriously, if ESPN Classic were to play all the games in my whole career, which were the best ones, that would make me very happy.
And so we make his day with an evening dedicated to the Kaiser at his very best. Happy birthday, Beckenbauer. The 11th of September on ESPN Classic.
Describe it: New York, Philadelphia, Washington, and Dallas in the NFC East. The Giants have the ball at the 28-yard line. Brandon Jacobs is the running back, lined up behind Hedgecock, the fullback, who provides the leverage as Jacobs then takes it to the 30, only for a gain of 2, making it 2nd down and 8 for New York. Joe Bugle, long time assistant coach, and he was the head man at Oakland and Arizona. Coached the Hogs through the years, the offensive line.
He's coaching the running game here. In fact, we mentioned this before, but when Jim Zorn came, he brought the West Coast offense passing game, but kept the same running game for the Redskins. And Joe Bugle, the offensive line coach, is the guy that installs the running game.
Manning stepping up, moving forward, hits Jacobs. Complete, just short of the first down, and it will be 3rd down and 1. Fletcher and Dowdy in on the stop.
I wonder if Dowdy's enjoying this.
I doubt it.
When he gets there, he's that second guy too. I mean, you see the pattern. He runs a check through, then he goes out to the left. Now watch him finish off Dowdy there. Dowdy is coming into him. Watch, when he ends up, he is turned the other way. He's trying to grab his head and can't find it.
He's playing in the heavyweight division, but he's a welterweight next to this guy. 3rd and 1. Jacobs again, and he has enough to pick up the first down before Fletcher falls on top of him. That'll move the change, and the Giants have a first down at their own 39-yard line.
One of the things that has impressed me is that Jason Taylor is playing as much as he did. He was out here in the pregame, and they didn't know it was going to be a game time decision. They didn't know if he was going to play or not. He tried a brace on, took the brace off, and I don't think he's even playing with a knee brace tonight.
Well, here he is. He's got a tape job, if nothing else. who lines up over McKenzie. First down from the 39-yard line.
This is a tough thing for him. I mean, he's naturally a right defensive end playing left defensive end.
They just do get the play off, and the pass is wobbly and deflected and incomplete. Carlos Rogers, number 22, as Manning just did get the snap off before the play clock expired and almost has it picked.
I think the Redskins are saying, if that's what you're going to do to us, if you're going to bring the pressure, you're going to bring the blitz, we're going to bring the blitz on you. And that time they made Eli throw the ball where he didn't have an open guy. I don't know if Plexico Burress was ready for it, or I mean, he sure wasn't open, and he didn't have much else to go to.
Second down and 10. Toomer left, Burress right. Drifting. Back across the middle, and that's incomplete. So Washington able to put enough pressure on Hedgecock, the intended receiver. It'll be third down.
You know, Kareem McKenzie, the right tackle here, 67, has been doing a good job of staying with Jason Taylor. You know, good job of run blocking, but also pass protection.
Manning tremendous on third down against the Patriots back in February, and tonight very effective. 5 attempts, 4 first downs on third down passes. Here he is again trying to convert on the 3rd and 10, and this time he can't. So all of a sudden the Redskin defense looks a lot different at the outset of the second half, intended for Smith, and the Giants will punt for the first time in the game.
Right, and the Giant offense doesn't have that same pace. And again, I think they lost it just before the end of the first half, and they haven't gotten it back.
Jeff Fiegels, his 21st year in the league. He was the oldest player in the league until they signed Carney the other day. So at the age of 42, Fiegels sending it to the corner with a directional kick, and that will go out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Redskins with the ball. Giants with the lead, 16-7.
Monday Night Football is back on NASN with a live doubleheader. First up, an NFC matchup as the Vikings square off against the Packers at Lambeau Field. Then longtime rivals hit the gridiron as the Broncos take on the Raiders. Coverage starts with ESPN's Monday Night Countdown. Live NFL, only on NASN.
For Wilson baseball gloves and much more, visit NASN.com.
For live commentary, news and stats, scrum.com. Instant rugby, anywhere.
NASN brings you the very best MLB coverage, including the playoffs and the 2008 World Series. Major League Baseball, only on NASN.
Lansdale, Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer, opening night of the season, 16-7, the Giants on top. 10:06 remaining here in the third quarter, and the Redskins take possession at the 14 on first down. Portis, big hole, big run, and Portis, who led the league in carries last season, is all the way out to the 37-yard line behind Randy Thomas, pulling and leading the way. And for Clinton Portis, out to his own 39, a 22-yard gain.
Right, here's Randy Thomas right there. He's a right guard. He pulls to the left. He comes and kicks out. Portis cuts off it and then cuts back. The play was going to be a kick out on the left side. He didn't get all the way to his puller, and then he just kept cutting back.
They give it to him again, and he gets taken down as he goes through the middle. Brian Keel making the stop. Very well. You don't see the player not lecturing the coach, but telling.
Well, he's coaching the coach.
Yeah, he's
what he's doing. He said, "Here's what we can do. This is what their defense is doing, and I think we can get this on them." And then they come back with 2 Portis runs in a row.
And Zorn was a willing listener. 2nd and 6. Campbell stepping up with a good shoulder move. And that buys time. And then he goes deep downfield, and it's almost intercepted by Aaron Ross with brilliant coverage on Santana Moss.
Yeah, that's when you really know you're a cover guy, or you really have to be a cover guy when a quarterback has this much time, and you have to cover all these moves. It's a stop and go. It's still not there. It's still not there. It's still not there. Oh, here it is. That is coverage. That's being on an island. That's staying with your guy the whole time and making a play on the ball at the end.
3rd and 6 up at the 41-yard line. And that is caught by the rookie Devin Thomas, but he stopped shy on the first down. They picked him in the 2nd round out of Michigan State. He was their top draft choice. They traded their number 1 pick. Big receiver, 6'1", 220 out of Michigan State, makes his first pro catch.
And again, the Giants are bringing their pressure, and they're coming right from that left side, and they make him get rid of the ball, but Devin Thomas still should have gotten up and gotten the first down. He should have known where the first down marker was. He could have taken another step or 2 and still caught that pass for a first down.
Brooks wearing out his leg tonight. Fair catch call for him made at the 19-yard line by McQuarters. 7:59 to play in the 3rd. Scoreless 2nd half to this point. Giants on top by 9.
Major League Baseball continues on NASN with more live midweek matchups. First up, the A's travel to Motor City to face the Tigers. Then in the National League, the Marlins and Phillies battle as the playoff races tighten. Live midweek baseball only on NASN.
A lot of room in right center. If he hits one there, we can dance in the streets. The 2-1. Swung line drive left field. 1 run is in. Here comes Bream. Here's the throw to the plate. He is safe. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. The Atlanta Braves are National League champions again. This crowd has gone berserk. Listen, Sid Bream at the bottom of a huge pile at the plate. What a ball game.
Adrian Peterson, he takes it from his own 9.
I have not seen that kind of speed, that kind of acceleration, that kind of size, that kind of strength in one running back, maybe ever in my lifetime.
They hand it off to Adrian, cuts back to the left of the 35. Now he speeds through the defense, and Adrian Peterson is gone!
Now from the 20-yard line before the first snap, we already have action up front with Seibert.
False start, offense number 69, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's 8th year out of Western Illinois. As we mentioned before, the Giants with the same 5 offensive linemen starting every game last season.
Tough guys, 5 tough guys, and probably the best of the bunch is the right guard, Chris Snee. You know that the Giants only had 1 player last year in the Pro Bowl, O.C. Umanura. And I think that this next year they're going to have some more of these guys go to the Pro Bowl.
On first down and 15, and that catch is made over the 29-yard line by Plexico Burris. You know, one reason, John, is they do the Pro Bowl voting before the end of the regular season. Well, the last time we saw the Giants here on a Sunday night, they had lost to Washington 22-10. They looked like they were dead. They had to go to Buffalo the next week in a windstorm, fell behind 14-0, but won that game. Then came back, and despite losing to the Patriots, played that magnificent game that night, and into the playoffs they went.
To me, that was where it all started for the Giants in that last regular season game against the Patriots, and the way they played them.
Jacobs on a 2nd and 1 with a gain of about 16 before Andre Carter, the defensive end, runs down the field to tackle him from behind.
Yeah, I was just talking about Chris Snee, and in the play before, he had a good pass protection. Right here, he just gets on his guy and he just stays with him. I mean, he makes good contact there, and then he finishes. Stays with him, holds a little maybe, and lets Brandon Jacobs get by. But you know, I mean, these guys not only control the line of scrimmage, they dominate the line of scrimmage.
Rolling left against the grain. Manning throwing downfield, and that's going to be picked off at the 36-yard line by Fred Smoot. So he overshoots the receiver. Andre Carter that time put the pressure on Manning and hits him as he threw it, intended for Kevin Boss and intercepted by Fred Smoot.
That was a big play by Andre Carter, 99. You see, they're trying to bootleg or get around him. He gets out here and he puts the pressure on Eli. Not only the pressure, but he put the hit on Eli just as he was throwing the ball. But on that play on a bootleg, you try and fool that defensive end. You try and get him to follow the run to the right, and then you bootleg around him on the left. That one didn't fool Andre Carter.
Carter's been to the rodeo before. Big play.
He was the guy that made it.
6.5 to go in the third. From the 36-yard line now. We'll start this with Clinton Portis chugging through the middle for a gain of 3. Eli barking at himself. Manning last year 20 interceptions during the regular season, tied for 2nd most in the league, but only 1 in the 4 postseason games. Actually, he was tied for the league lead in picks at 20 last year.
And again, this is one thing the Giants have really been dominating the Redskins. You let them hang in there, and then you give them a kickoff return, and you give them another play here, and pretty soon they're back in this game.
Portis, 41-yard line. Washington on the ground tonight. I mean, through the air, Campbell has only attempted 9 passes, and they run the ball 17 times.
We were talking about Kiwanuka, but watch Justin Tuck in the way he makes this play here. I mean, he starts up the field, sees that it's not coming to the outside, and then folds underneath and makes the play. They could help Jason Campbell out here. Jim Zorn could let him throw on 2nd down instead of this situation.
3rd and 5. Deep drop, steps up, throws, completes it, but well short of the first down. Needed 5, got about 2. Kiwanuka smacks Portis to the turf, and the frustration right there on the face of Clinton.
Watch Portis the way he chips, though. I mean, he is a tough guy. Watch him right there. I mean, now when you draw up a chip block, that is a chip block. Watch that. Boom. I mean, that's just unloading, decleating, and putting the guy flat on his back. That's why I love Clinton Portis.
Picked by Brooks. The Porter's at the 14-yard line, and the coverage is perfect. Racing down the field was Rock Cartwright to make the tackle. Still a 9-point game.
The NFL is back, and NASN brings you a live doubleheader. The Brett Favre era begins for New York as the Jets take on the Dolphins. Then the Cowboys step into the dog pound to battle the Cleveland Browns. Coverage begins with ESPN's Sunday NFL Countdown, This Sunday only on NASN.
Looks like a power play, huh, Mike? Sure does.
ESPN 360. Wherever and whenever you're online, you're at the game.
NASN is giving you the chance to choose which live game you want to see with an MLB viewer's choice. See the Twins face off against the Rays in Tampa Bay, the White Sox battle the Yankees in New York, or catch the Phillies fight for a win against the Braves in Atlanta. Choose which game you want to see and visit NASN.com now to cast your vote. A Major League Baseball viewer's choice. Watch the winning game live on September 18th, only on NASN.
Yes, it's a glove. It's a baseball glove.
For Wilson gloves and much, much more, visit NASN.com, your home for North American sports merchandise.
Night Football Extra. From the 13-yard line, a first down for the New York Giants in a scoreless second half. Derek Ward is the running back. Manning hands the ball to Ward, picks up 2. Second down 8, we go to Andrea.
Well, guys, it's very humid down here and about 80 degrees, only 7 degrees cooler since the start of the game. And Giants cornerback Corey Webster had some cramps, so they took him in the locker room for an IV, and they're just watching both sidelines because it continues to get very hot and humid down here.
It was 87 at game time, I think 90 in Manhattan today as the maximum temperature. So a hot night in the Apple as reflected on that pan.
Well, you know, these guys, they play like a quarter in preseason games, and then the regular season breaks out and they have to play the whole game.
Second down and 8. That'll be a gain of 7 for Ward as he goes to the middle up to the 23-yard line. It'll be third down and 1 for the Giants.
And you know, they roll in the running backs and they roll in the receivers and they change the tight ends, but I've been talking about these offensive lines. That's one group that they don't. And you say if we have to substitute every other position and roll, why don't we roll offensive linemen? Offensive linemen are the type of guys that you just let them play and you don't even look at them. You don't even look.
And normally teams only carry 7, so you have 2 subs, maybe an 8, as opposed to the defensive line where sometimes they carry as many as 9. Third and 1. And that is caught by Steve Smith, who makes the catch, and that'll be a first down. Under 3 minutes to play now in the third quarter.
I mean, Steve Smith has become a big first down guy. I mean, he just knows how to run patterns, and Eli was talking about him the other day that he can run those inside, those slot patterns, those option patterns, and you can see here he just has a feeling as an outside receiver to get up enough where you get that first down, and then if the ball is completed, have you enough yardage for the first down.
Played at U.S. during the regular season a lot, but really came on when he got healthy in the playoffs. And that pass is caught by Ward. Ward is out of bounds at about the 37-yard line, covered on the play by Smoot, and a flag is down. And we also have a player down. We have Fred Smoot, who's hurt. So already banged up in the secondary, and Smoot writhing in pain.
Once he learns how to win, he's going to be really tough to beat.
Coming to the checkers over here. Kyle Busch, you are the man, baby. You are the man.
Kyle Busch wins the Dodge Challenger 500. Kyle Busch tamed the Monster Mile.
Checkered flag in the air for Kyle Busch. He wins at Sonoma.
I think we got it. That's ours.
Kyle Busch sweeps at Chicagoland.
And that was all
The year of Kyle Busch is set to continue.
Kyle Busch gets the victory, his 8th of the year.
Just because you're thousands of miles from the nearest big league stadium doesn't mean you can't be a big league fan. Majestic Athletic, the official uniform supplier for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Available now all over Europe at NASN.com.
Franz, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday Franz Beckenbauer, happy birthday to you. So what would you most like for your birthday?
Well, it would be nice to turn the lights off and bring in a cake, but seriously, if ESPN Classic were to play all the games in my whole career, which were the best ones, that would make me very happy.
And so we make his day with an evening dedicated to the Kaiser at his very best. Happy birthday, Beckenbauer. The 11th of September on ESPN Classic.
On 12th Street, you will find irresistible mac and cheese. Fred Smoot, who went down in a lot of agony before he went to the commercial and took a shot and was rubbing his lower left back, is able to get up and come off the field.
You can see right here as he goes down, he grabs his back. Right there. Now they lose Smoot and Sean Springs. Remember when we talked to him last night, they thought he was going to start, and then he's not even dressed tonight. So Carlos Rogers, our other corner, is coming off a knee surgery. Sean Springs isn't active. Fred Smoot limps off the field.
The safety LaRon Landry didn't play at all. As you look at Springs, and now they're going to go to Lee Torrance, third year out of Stanford.
This is a great down, 2nd and 2. This is when you can do anything. It's an excellent play action pass down.
Baptism by fire for Torrance. There he is, top of the screen, one-on-one with Burris, and beginning to back off as Eli will hand the ball off, and this is Ward who will pick up the first down. So they settle for a conservative play call up to the 41-yard line, under 2 minutes now to play in the quarter.
Yeah, because when your offensive line kind of has control the way this Giant offensive line does, you're not worried about leaving third down out there. So if you want to take a shot, 2nd and short is a pretty good time to take that shot.
Kevin Gilbride on the mic into Eli's helmet. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Looked off the screen and goes over the middle and hits Burris. That time Burris lining up on the other side. So the coverage by Dowdy and the linebacker McIntosh. Now a minute to play in the third. As far as the Giants stars tonight, there are the numbers for Manning. 16 out of 30. Jacobs is averaging a stellar 6.6. And Burris, who just recently started practicing full-time, 9 receptions for 120 yards. Big night.
It makes it look easy, doesn't it? Plexico Burris.
2nd down and 1 from the 48. And Manning will throw the ball out in the flat, and that'll be a first down to Hedgecock. And John, we saw him a lot last year. We were amazed that a guy who wouldn't practice all week, and he couldn't practice because of knee and ankle injuries, could be so effective.
Yeah, and he just has a feel for the game. He has a feel for getting open. What they've been doing now, if it's a cover 2, if they have 2 deep safeties, he's running the in and the hook. And then if they go single safety, he's running the out patterns and the fades. And whatever they play, the Giants have an answer for him with Plexico Burris.
No scoring in the third quarter. It remains 16-7 Giants after 3. And this NFL kickoff special from the Meadowlands will continue after these messages from your local NBC station.
football is back on NASN, and we've got a live interconference matchup. The Sunshine State goes to battle in Gainesville as the Hurricanes and the Gators renew an old rivalry. Live college football, Miami versus Florida, this Saturday, only on NASN.
Mike just watched the way he danced past those two blockers. Slam dunk.
ESPN 360. Wherever and whenever you're online, you're at the game.
Going for a two-point conversion from the 3-yard line. And it's a fake play. They're going to score! Ian Johnson! They rolled the ball to Ian Johnson, and he scored! They left it down on the field. Zabransky faked the pass. Johnson picked up the ball and ran it in for a touchdown. And the Broncos have won the Fiesta Bowl. Can you believe it?
The NFL is back, and NASN brings you a live doubleheader. The Brett Favre era begins for New York as the Jets take on the Dolphins. Then the Cowboys step into the dog pound to battle the Cleveland Browns. Coverage begins with ESPN Sunday NFL Countdown, this Sunday only on NASN. College football is back on NASN, and we've got a live interconference matchup. The Sunshine State goes to battle in Gainesville as the Hurricanes and the Gators renew an old rivalry. Live college football, Miami versus Florida, this Saturday, only on NASN.
1,185 starts. But today, the king of stock car racing, Richard Petty, will end his illustrious career.
I've enjoyed all 35 years of it. Hope they have.
Petty, start your engine.
The crowd rises to its feet, salutes the field as it comes down. The green flag waves. Oh, a crash! And Richard Petty is flaming going into turn number 1.
I pulled up to the fire truck.
He has the car running again with just 2 more laps to go.
So on your feet, wave and say goodbye your special way to King Richard Petty.
Kramer, 1st and 10 as the Giants have the ball just inside Washington territory, and breaking through is LaRon Landry along with Andre Carter. So the safety and the end combined for the sack as you see Smoot going back to the locker room.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, and when Eli Manning of the Giants see man coverage, and you're going to get man coverage when you get a blitz like this, he's trying to go outside to Plexico Burress. He looks out there, Burress has coverage, and then the rush gets to him. Andre Carter coming from that right side. Tom Coughlin the other day, the guy that he was worried about on this Redskin defense was Andre Carter. He said he gives David Deal problems each time.
Carter, 8th year, when he played with the 49ers. The pass out here is caught by Amani Toomer, who's taken down at the 46-yard line. It was a 2nd and 18, and it'll be 3rd down and 9, and there goes Smoot again with Springs out and Smoot out. There's a penalty flag thrown on the last play as well. Ed Hockley with a call in a moment.
Illegal shift offense. 2 backs are moving at the same time. They didn't come set for a full second. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
So then negates a 9-yard gain. Update on Smoot. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, we saw Fred Smoot get kneed in the back. He was very, very much in pain, walking gingerly. They're calling it a hip corner. They tried to put him on the bike to loosen it up, but he was just in so much pain. They took him in the locker room for further examination. They're calling his return questionable.
One thing about playing in a Thursday night game, at least you have a few extra days to heal. So Smoot will have until the 14th, a week from Sunday, when the Saints go to Washington. 2nd down and 23 as Manning throws over the middle, and wide open and making the catch is Ward, and Ward gets the ball back into Washington territory to the 46-yard line, and that'll set up a 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, we were talking about Andre Carter and kind of being a rushing problem over here. Watch what they do now. They're going to have Kevin Boss. They line him up over on that side, and they have him chip on Carter. Then they have Deal waiting there to pick him up. So, you know, when you're having a problem with a guy and you want to settle him down, that's a pretty good way to do it.
3rd and 10. from the shotgun. 4 down linemen. 3-man rush, 8 back. And the pass is a little too high for Burris to pull down. Landry moves over to the safety spot for the coverage. So 4th and 10.
Yeah, there's going to be a guy that's going to be a superstar in this league, LaRon Landry. I mean, he has great speed. He's a tough guy. He's a hitter. He has great range. He can make plays on the ball. And I think before it's all over for this guy, he's going to be a very, very special NFL player.
Well, the Dewan plays for the Baltimore Ravens. Picked by Fiegels is a line drive, fielded by Antoine Randall at the 11-yard line, and he cannot get around the corner. The coverage is great. The Giants take him down back at the 9-yard line. The Big Apple on this hot Thursday night. Giants up 16-7.
Major League Baseball continues on NASN with more live midweek matchups. First up, the A's travel to Motor City to face the Tigers. Then in the National League, the Marlins and Phillies battle as the playoff races tighten. Live midweek baseball only on NASN.
A lot of room in right center. If he hits one there, we can dance in the streets. The 2-1. Swung line drive left field. One run is in. Here comes Bream. Here's the throw to the plate. He is safe. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. The Atlanta Braves are National League champions again. This crowd has gone berserk. Listen, Sid Bream at the bottom of a huge pile at the plate. What a ball game.
Ain't much to say. It's game time.
Reggie with a great catch. How does he do it?
Wow.
How do you like that?
On that one, Reggie Wayne was too good.
Holy smoke. That was beautiful. Look, throws one deep. Reggie's there. Touchdown, Reggie Wayne.
Into the end zone. What do you think about that? Reggie Wayne just used his speed and talent to run right by the defender.
Wow. He's good.
Just moved last week to the new digs over here in Jersey as Clinton Portis takes the ball up to the 14-yard line. He's tackled there by Ronaldo Wynn, number 99.
Ronaldo Wynn is in there for Justin Tuck now, and it's one of the interesting things. If they can get Wynn to play that position, then Tuck can still move around and get some of those, drops, some of those inside pressures, and a lot of the things that he did last year.
2nd and 5. Portis able to stay on his feet and turn nothing into a little bit of something as Wynn is again in on the tackle, and Clinton will set up a 3rd down and 1 as we tick down to 12 minutes remaining in regulation in a game in which the Giants were dominant in the first half but bogged down on 3 drives, settled for field goals. It was 16-0, and Washington got back in it with a last-minute score. In a scoreless second half. 3rd and 1. Washington comes up in a tight formation with only Moss split to the left.
Jason Campbell's changing the play here. He sees them all packed in there.
And he's going to give it to Portis, and they're going to get the 1st down as he lined up alongside Mike Sellers, the fullback, and that'll move the chains. The ball is out to the 23-yard line. By the 27th birthday, there are the numbers that some of the big men have put up through the years. Emmett, who was the all-time leading rusher anyway, is the leader right there. Portis would be 5th on that all-time list. His 27th birthday was 3 days ago. From the 22-yard line. Rolling. And then throwing the the sideline and incomplete, intended for Antoine Randall in front of the Washington bench. It'll be second down and 10.
I think that's what Jim Zorn was trying to do, is get some running game going and making the Giants play run defense and then give them play action or bootleg and get Jason Campbell out. But I don't feel Jason Campbell has gotten into any rhythm. I mean, not only in this game, but we saw him twice in the preseason, and I know those things are hard to tell, but he just doesn't have this offense down yet.
5 of 11 for 40 yards. Second and 10, and the whistle here. And that's another full start.
Offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Second false start charge to Randall tonight. When you look at, well, there's Zorn showing his exasperation.
Well, I would too. I mean, I don't mean to jump in here, but I mean, you know, a wide receiver should never be offside. I mean, you know, they could look in at the ball. They don't have to be first off. They don't have a big nose tackle over them that's going to pop them. There is no excuse for a wide receiver to be moving and jumping.
Twice.
And he's lined up way out here. All he has to do is look in. If he can't hear or doesn't remember the count, just look in at the snap.
Second and 15. Screen, and it's deflected and incomplete. It's too high. Intended for Betts, and Campbell now 5 out of 12. The thing about Campbell, too, we haven't pointed out tonight, he is coming off, as you see a little skirmish here. It's the NFC East. What else is new? Campbell coming off as you look again here. There's Pierce, and it would figure Antonio, an ex-Redskin, would get into it. With Pete Kendall, an ex-Jet.
Ooh, that's dangerous when you lose your hat. As long as you got your hat on, so they can punch in the face, you don't get anything. Now when the hat's off, now you have a face that is punchable. I'm surprised there's not a penalty on that.
Ooh.
They were grabbing face mask
And then he headbutts him with his helmet.
Right, and they just let it go. They don't care.
Third and 15. And that's caught by Randall, but he put him in trouble to begin with and can't extricate them, as you can only get it up to the 26-yard line, and that'll force another Brooks punt.
Yeah, that last situation is one of those, Al, that there was no penalties called, but there will be fines for it. You watch next Friday, you'll hear, you know, fined in that game, or, you know, the following.
Pretty hard to miss on the tape.
Yeah.
7th punt for Durant Brooks. Good one. Fielded at the 21 by R.W. McQuarters. And a nice run back as McQuarters takes it back up to the 35-yard line. 54-yard boot. Giants and the Redskins.
Monday Night Football is back on NASN with a live doubleheader. First up, an NFC matchup as the Vikings square off against the Packers at Lambeau Field. Then longtime rivals hit the gridiron as the Broncos take on the Raiders. Coverage starts with ESPN's Monday Night Countdown. Live NFL, only on NASN. NASN is giving you the chance to choose which live game you want to see with an MLB viewer's choice. See the Twins face off against the Rays in Tampa Bay, the White Sox battle the Yankees in New York, or catch the Phillies fight for a win against the Braves in Atlanta. Choose which game you want to see and visit NASN.com now to cast your vote. A Major League Baseball viewer's choice. Watch the winning game live on September 18th, only on NASN.
Giants now at their 35-yard line. This drive commences with a Brandon Jacobs foray over right tackle for a gain of 1 up to the 36-yard line, setting up a 2nd down and 9.
Yeah, the Redskins have made pretty good adjustments, I think, to the Giant run. I mean, they've kind of calmed it down a little.
Trying to calm down the hit pointer for Smoot. He comes out of the locker room and back onto the field, but not onto the field of play yet, still on the sideline. 2nd down and 9 at the 36-yard line.
Eli Manning identifying the mic.
The linebacker is hands in the pocket, throws. Burris makes the catch. And Plaxico Burris now into double figures tonight, making his 10th catch of the game, good for 133 yards.
Doesn't it look sometimes like Plaxico Burris is just out there running around against someone in the park? I mean, the guy's up there playing tight coverage on him, and he still runs a hook on him. I mean, he's so big and so strong that he can do that. You know, you say that you can't run a hook pattern against press coverage. He just did it. And because he's bigger, stronger, and he just knows how to play the game.
Ties his career high with 10 catches. 8:45 to go in the 4th. Jacobs again. Jacobs to the 45-yard line.
And we look at Brandon Jacobs tonight, and we just look at that power, and his power really comes at the end when he finishes off runs great. Then when you think he's going to run over you, he gives you a little move like that and runs right by you. So you think, you think it's going to be power, you think he's always going to bully you, you're going to, brace for that hit. The minute you brace for that hit, he'll give you a little move and go around you.
Well, he's juked and burrowed his way and bulldozed his way to 100 yards tonight on 16 carries. So into triple figures, and he adds a couple more here as he seeks the first down and appears to have it at the 42-yard line, and does.
Yeah, I was saying that Eli Manning looks so much more comfortable this year, and the two things that'll make you comfortable as a quarterback is a good running game, a good runner, and a good offensive line.
Good coaching.
What a difference a year makes, though, huh?
Amazing how much smarter Tom Coughlin became last year, right? 42-yard line, first down, halfway through the 4th quarter. Manning guns it over the middle, and that one's deflected. That time Burris had double coverage. LaRon Landry and Rogers both there. Incomplete.
Well, LaRon Landry left the deep guy, and I think that's what had been happening. Is he'd been, deep. He'd been that deep middle safety, and he'd been going off, and then they've been running him off. But right now, you're going to see he's not going to go with the deep guy. He's just looking all the way at Plaxico Burris. He's just going to take that away. He's not worried about someone going deep from the other side. He'd look and turn to Plaxico Burris.
2nd and 10 from the 43. Jacobs again. We looked at Coughlin under the gun last year, John. But, we've watched him through the years, all the years at Jacksonville, and he started that franchise from scratch, and then over here. And, people who don't know him, they see him, and of course he's intense. But the one thing about Coughlin's teams for all of the years, always disciplined, always ready to play. His clock management is terrific. You don't put anything over on Tom Coughlin.
No, and pro football is a very intense game. And it has to be coached intensely, and it has to be played intensely. And with a lot of passion, and that's what he brings to the game.
3rd and 7. And Manning's going to go down, so a big sack here. The ball loose, but after the whistle, and that is Chris Wilson, who would be number 3 on the depth chart at defensive end behind Erasmus James and Carter.
And he's one of those guys that's going to do a spin move. Watch here. Here's Chris Snee here, and he's going to get him going to the outside. Then he's going to spin and go to the outside again, and then he gets away from Snee, and he's straight up on Eli Manning. Started to go to the inside. Snee kind of went to the inside, then he snuck to the outside.
Big sack on third down play where time's starting to become an issue right now in a 9-point game. And that kick will take a very good bounce for the Giants, not bouncing into the end zone. Instead, it'll be down at the 9-yard line. Washington starting deep in its own territory. A little more than 6 to play. 16-7.
Monday Night Football is back on NASN with a live doubleheader. First up, an NFC matchup as the Vikings square off against the Packers at Lambeau Field. Then longtime rivals hit the gridiron as the Broncos take on the Raiders. Coverage starts with ESPN's Monday Night Countdown. Live NFL, only on NASN.
One of you tonight will join the elite Heisman fraternity. Without further ado, the winner of this year's Heisman Trophy is Tim Tebow, Florida.
NASN is giving you the chance to choose which live game you want to see with an MLB viewer's choice. See the Twins face off against the Rays in Tampa Bay, the White Sox battle the Yankees in New York, or catch the Phillies fight for a win against the Braves in Atlanta. Choose which game you want to see and visit NASN.com now to cast your vote. A Major League Baseball viewer's choice. Watch the winning game live on September 18th, only on NASN.
Who won the gold in the 4x400 relay and the bronze in the women's 400-meter run, is engaged to Aaron Ross, the Giants cornerback.
And she was at practice the other day. I was out there and I met her. Very impressive.
Here's Court is taken down at the 7.
Yep, there's a penalty. But she had her medals with her. She had a gold medal and a bronze medal. And that was the first time I've ever seen one. And she was impressive, and the medals were impressive.
She's on the Tonight Show tonight. I love the way she calls her fiance Ross.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense. Number 59, late hit, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, that's a carryover. I think he meant 58, Al. That was a carryover from that last series. Remember Antonio Pierce? And he was going through it over there. Watch him now. He's 58 right here. Here he comes. Plays over. Portis is down. Still going for him.
And then here comes Wilkinson. He called 59. Wilkinson came in to the pile late as well. From the 22-yard line on first down. This is Justin Tuck. They touched Portis away. Good night. Tuck them in.
This is the thing that Justin Tuck does so well is he'll take the inside. See, they're trying to block him there with Chris Cooley, and Justin Tuck just goes right inside him. And not only does he go inside, but when he goes inside, he goes in with real strength and power.
Second down, 13 now. Clock ticking down, 5:20 to go in the fourth. Campbell from the gun. Here comes Tuck. They pick him up. Pass is caught by Antoine Randall-El, and Randall-El gets out near midfield to the 44-yard line, where he's tackled by the rookie safety Kenny Phillips. That's a gain of 26.
Yeah, they finally took advantage of that blitz, and you're going to see the Giants coming to blitz, and then they had that zone dog in behind it, and it gets Randall-El right up the middle. And that's what the Redskins need now. I mean, they need plays in big chunks. And maybe pretty soon they may start thinking of going no huddle here, too.
Sutter stayed in to make a nice block that time as Randall L. makes the catch, but then falls down, and they'll spot it at the 46-yard line with 4.5 to go. It'll be a gain of 2, second down and 8.
Now I think they get to the point where, you know, they have to speed up things, you know, get the ball up the field more. We're getting very close to a point where running the ball is not going to make a lot of sense anymore.
Second and 9. Off the fake to the outside. And this is the first catch of the game for Chris Cooley, the Pro Bowl tight end. His first catch of the season, and that takes the ball to the 48-yard line, but still short of the first down. 3rd and 2.
Again, and when you need 2 scores, you know, we always talk about the 2-minute offense you go and do when you need 1, or in a 4-minute offense. Now they have to speed it up. They're taking way too much time.
More alacrity is necessary. And remember, Zorn's coaching his first ever game as a head coach. Hasn't even called the plays before. He was the quarterback's coach in Seattle. Remember how wasteful they were at the end of the first half, even though they wound up getting a touchdown. And then through the middle, and busting his way for a first down is Portis, and that'll take it to the 39, and it will take the clock down toward the 3-minute mark. Redskins have all of their timeouts.
And this is probably one of the problems with, you know, the first game in a new system is you don't have your no huddle yet, but they should definitely be in no huddle.
They'll snap this one with under 3 minutes to go. It's Portis again. In a 2-possession game like this, you go either way, of course. You can get into field goal range and get the 3, and then, well, then you have the choice of either onside kicking it or having your 3 timeouts and hoping your defense does the job, or seek the touchdown. Meanwhile, there's an injury timeout, injury stoppage here with 2:39 remaining in the 4th quarter. Robbins.
Monday Night Football is back on NASN with a live doubleheader. First up, an NFC matchup as the Vikings square off against the Packers at Lambeau Field. Then longtime rivals hit the gridiron as the Broncos take on the Raiders. Coverage starts with ESPN's Monday Night Countdown. Live NFL, only on NASN.
One of you tonight will join the elite Heisman fraternity. Without further ado, the winner of this year's Heisman Trophy is Tim Tebow, Florida.
NASN is giving you the chance to choose which live game you want to see with an MLB viewer's choice. See the Twins face off against the Rays in Tampa Bay, the White Sox battle the Yankees in New York, or catch the Phillies fight for a win against the Braves in Atlanta. Choose which game you want to see and visit NASN.com now to cast your vote. A Major League Baseball viewer's choice. Watch the winning game live on September 18th, only on NASN.
Tonight by Gillette Body Wash. Robbins goes off the field. He got hurt. Jay Alford comes in. It is second down and 7 now as play resumes with Campbell having time, throwing over the middle, checking down, hitting Portis. Flag is thrown. For the moment, it's a first down at the 29-yard line, but a flag is down back in the offensive backfield, and it looks like it's an offensive holding call here coming up from Huckabee.
Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
The left tackle, Chris Samuels. Go back to the roughing call right now where Pierce came in, and initially it looked like Pierce was going to get flagged, but watch Wilkinson come in after Pierce.
Yeah,
59, there's your call.
I thought it was against Pierce, and then after Pierce did what he did, here comes Jarris Wilkinson, and look what Tom Coughlin thought of that play.
How stupid can you be? Don't even need subtitles. 2nd and 17.
First thing the Redskins have to do here is get back in field goal range.
And that's dropped. Moss took his eyes off it. Coming right into him, right into his hands. 3rd and 17.
That was one of those where, I don't think it was looking, like you were you're going to get hit, but he's trying to make a play. I mean, he's trying to look for, get the ball, make the next move so that he could take it up the field, not run into that safety and make a bigger play. This is a big play for the Redskins here. They need a play that will get them in field goal range.
Moss's second drop tonight. On 3rd and 17, they have to get to the 30 for a first down, and instead they throw it way underneath to Santana Moss. I mean, you've got to go downfield. You can't throw a swing out in the flat with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go and leave yourself with a 4th and forever out of field goal range. But they do, and then they have to take a timeout on top of it.
Football is back on NASN, and we've got a live interconference matchup. The Sunshine State goes to battle in Gainesville as the Hurricanes and the Gators renew an old rivalry. Live college football, Miami versus Florida, this Saturday, only on NASN.
So, anyone good?
Yeah, I got Ellis, Penny, and K-Mac. 3-time Architect of the Year. Who'd you get?
There are over 380,000 NCAA student athletes.
Check it out. The Jay Campbell rookie card.
No way! That guy dominates in the lab.
Yeah.
And just about all of them will be going pro in something other than sports.
I didn't know he minored in French.
We're playing San Diego. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. And puked in between. And that's when I knew it.
I felt like I was playing with little kids and I was a grown man, like Superman.
I ran the fastest 40 at the camp, and I was still 15 years old. So that's when I knew I was gonna be pretty good. Oh yeah.
Major League Baseball coverage all the way to the World Series on NASN.
Campbell buying time, shoots it to the outside, and then staying in bounds but not able to pick up the first down is Liddell Betts. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. Or close enough. Well, actually, it's a change of possession, which is a minor break for the Redskins here because they'll stop the clock after the Giants' first play, but they're still down by 9.
And that was one of the things that Jason Campbell knew that he couldn't throw to the short guy, and he tried not to. I mean, he was trying to look upfield, trying to buy time, trying to go, and then at the end he had no one else to go to. You see, he's looking upfield, trying to get something up there. He didn't want to have to do this.
Now the Giants will try to run the clock out, even though it's going to stop 3 times. It'll stop after this play for the 2-minute warning, and then the Redskins will have 2 timeouts. And they give it to Jacobs. And that's our 2-minute warning. With the ball to the 35-yard line, coming with 1 minute and 57 to play on opening night of the 2008 season. The Giants up by 9.
This message.
The NFL is back, and NASN brings you a live doubleheader. The Brett Favre era begins for New York as the Jets take on the Dolphins. Then the Cowboys step into the dog pound to battle the Cleveland Browns. Coverage begins with ESPN Sunday NFL Countdown. This Sunday only on NASN.
Cubs and Yankee fans are like oil and water. Cubs and White Sox fans at the same dinner table? Bad idea. Despite their differences, fans do have one thing in common. Their heroes all wear Majestic Athletic, the official uniform supplier for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Available now all over Europe at NASN.com.
Long drive. It is out of here. Back Burrow with a two-run game-winning home run. Can you believe it? What a tremendous ending to this game. The Bills have their last strike and Burrow delivers.
Franz, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday Franz Beckenbauer, happy birthday to you. So what would you most like for your birthday?
Well, it would be nice to turn the lights off and bring in a cake, but seriously, if ESPN Classic were to play all the games in my whole career, which were the best ones, that would make me very happy.
And so we make his day with an evening dedicated to the Kaiser at his very best. Happy birthday, Beckenbauer. The 11th of September on ESPN Classic.
Second down and 7. From the 35, the Redskins with 2 timeouts. Jacobs bobbled it. They'll stop there for a gain of 1. The Skins will take their timeout right here, and we will have upcoming a 3rd down and 6. Funny game, John, in the sense, the way the Giants started out. That first drive and then the second drive looked good before it bogged down, and I thought we'd have a big rout on our hands. And instead, even though the Redskins are trying to get back into the game, I mean, the Giants have always had control of it.
Yeah, the Redskins offense just never did get any rhythm going. And if they could have gotten something going, maybe have to throw a little more on first down or some of those kinds of things, but they couldn't get anything going. I think their defense adjusted pretty well to the Giants offense, and I think they kind of slowed the run down a little. They couldn't handle touch of a burst, but they handled the rest of the passing game.
Now 3rd and 5, the Redskin defense compelled to stop Jacobs shy of the first down here, and look at him going sideways and close to a first down, and even before the measurement, Washington's going to have to take a timeout.
Well, and the key word is there, they have to take the timeout.
They couldn't afford to let any more time, and Ed Hockley's going to stop it anyway to measure.
Look at what he does to a pile, though. I mean, he just puts his head down and just keeps his feet going, and he's so big and strong, and as long as he keeps those feet going and those legs moving, he's picking up 4 or 5 yards after he hit the initial pile.
And they're going to be a couple of inches shy of the first down.
And I think you still have to punt it. I mean, it's easy, say it's only a couple inches, but I think in this situation, you have to punt the ball.
You do, because otherwise you're giving them the ball in a situation where if they get 1 first down and kick a field goal and then recover an onside kick, they still have a good chance or a decent chance to win the game. This way, you don't afford them that opportunity and make them have 2 relatively long drives.
I was going to say, I don't think the decision is final yet, though. It looks like there's...
Well, it's interesting. Washington, because of the measurement, is not charged, and that is in the rule, as Tom Coughlin now is exercised over this.
Washington has elected to use their final timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
They use it here. In other words, if you call a timeout before a measurement, you can get that back if they call a timeout for a measurement, which they did. But then when the measurement went in Washington's favor, which it did, they would wind the clock here the minute the ball is ready for play, so Washington still must use its timeout.
Right, so they had to use that, but they'll pick up another one here at change of possession. Once they return this punt, the clock will stop again because of change of possession.
Right.
And then they have to again get the ball, get it in field goal range, kick a field goal in an onside kick and so on. That's how they're still in this game.
Without a timeout. Jeff Fiegel is to punt. And he'll angle that one toward the far side, and it's a very short kick. And that will be spotted at the 33-yard line. So the Redskins, without a timeout in a two-possession game, needing a field goal and a touchdown.
I think somewhere, I mean, it's awfully late, and I've been thinking this, for the last quarter, but somewhere you have to get Chris Cooley involved in this. I mean, he's your big guy. He's a star player in this league, and he's caught like one pass for 7 yards.
Exactly one.
And I mean, I thought this in the last drive. You have to, find something for Cooley because he should be a go-to guy in these kinds of situations. They have him split out here now.
Split wide to the right. Dockery is on him. Campbell's looking the other way. Campbell throwing to the outside. It's caught by Randall L. And Randall L will get out of bounds after a gain of 9 up to the 42-yard line.
That's one of the problems with this West Coast pass offense is when you get down and you're against the clock, you don't have a lot of deep passing. Everything is kind of quick rhythm. Get the ball out of your hands, get it to your receiver, let him run. But at some point, you have to chuck it deep.
For the most part, their West Coast has gone south tonight. 2nd and 1. Up the field he goes. That is caught in Giant territory by Moss. No timeouts. They got to get up. Either spike the ball or run it without a huddle. A minute 11, a minute 10, and ticking down. Campbell comes up in the shotgun from the 47-yard line. Over the middle again, and the Giants will give them all the 6 and 7 and 8-yard dink and dunks they want as Randall L. makes the catch at the 39-yard line with 54 seconds to play and ticking down.
You not only have to get it deep or try and take a shot deep, but you have to get it to the outside.
Campbell. Now he's going deep. Down the right sideline, and it's incomplete, intended for James Thrash, with Kevin Dockery with him step for step. Thrash, 12th year in the league, their number 3 receiver.
Right, and if that's a guy that you want to go after, it's Kevin Dockery. You want to get that jump ball. Kevin Dockery is only 5'8". So if you could get a deep ball and get a jump ball, you ought to win it against him in that situation.
3rd down and 2 from the 40-yard line. Campbell. And that pass is thrown out of bounds. So it'll be 4th down. And they're down to having to at least get the 1st down to have any sort of a chance. Thrash, the intended receiver there. That would have been a 1st down, obviously, but he threw it on the chalk.
You see, Thrash was a little close to the sideline. I mean, part of that was Campbell throwing it too wide, and part of it was Thrash not giving his quarterback space to the sideline between where he's running the pattern and the boundary.
4th and 2. To the outside, and they can't get out of bounds. They get the 1st down, but that's worth about 4 cents.
I think they have to kill the clock and kick a field goal.
Absolutely. Randall L. makes the catch. Kill the clock, kick a field goal, then get an onside kick, and even here, they're taking too much time. That was an extra like 4 or 5 seconds before it was even spiked.
And they're not going to try the field goal. I think that's the play that you have to do because it's really your only chance to win.
Well, John, as a former coach, you go back to camp this next week, and you do work on the hurry up, don't you?
Oh yeah, they have to. I mean, they have to spend time on that. They have to get their passing game in a rhythm. You have to work on your 2-minute, your no huddle. You have to work on your 4-minute. You have to work on all those situations.
2nd down and 10 from the 32-yard line. Going to the end zone. And it is incomplete, intended for Moss. Double coverage on the play as Corey Webster got back there to get a hand on it.
He had a shot there. If he throws it outside, if he throws it instead of bringing him back to the inside, if he throws it outside to the pylon, he could have had a shot at that.
Well, the game is over, but we know a few of our friends are watching rather intently here. 9-point game, 7 seconds to play. Campbell, flag is thrown, and that is caught by Betts, and he'll get slung down at the 11. And if the penalty is on the Washington Redskins, that will be the end of the game. In the meantime, Matthias Kiwanuka is doubled over. Samuels held him and tackled him.
However, the time expired. Therefore, the foul is not enforced. The play is not. The game is not extended. The game is over.
This is an offensive foul, so the game is over. But in the meantime, you've got Samuels, who hog-ties Kiwanuka. Matthias has gotten up. Ooh, and he went down very awkwardly, clutching his left leg. Remember, he broke his leg last year and missed the last several games of the season. So the Giants score early, but not often, win the game by a score of 16-7. And we move to Indianapolis, where we will see you on Sunday night. Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer, our entire crew saying good night from the Meadowlands.